This is an original image that I really like, but I wanted to crop in a lot to make it look more like this. Clearly, this is a huge crop and we lose a lot of megapixels. I use the new On1 AI Resize to try to bring some of those pixels back, but did it work? Do we have a usable image? Let's dive in and check this out. This is clearly the unedited. I went in and removed some people. Looks like I missed one, but that's why we have a TIFF file here, because I removed some people and did a small little crop on it for a straight horizon. I shot this with a Canon 80D and a 70 to 200 lens. So we're already getting a big crop just by the camera. So 80D is a crop sensor lens, and then with the 70 to 200, this is actually shot somewhere around what is that, 320 millimeters. But I still wanted just this little piece. That's too much to crop in on a crop sensor camera, on any camera really. We don't want to crop in that much because we lose way too much resolution. Already, this is only, if we look at the pixels here, this is only roughly 6,000 by 4,000, even a little bit less than that because I cropped it just a tiny bit, which translates to roughly a 12 by 18 photograph. So when we crop even smaller, we lose a ton of resolution. But I did that anyway and brought it into Photoshop here. This is after a Lightroom edit, clearly. And when we zoom in here, here's what I did. I went into image and image size, and I changed it to 24 by 36. Most of my prints sell at about that size. And it's like, could I create a sellable image by cropping in that much, shot on a crop sensor camera, and then bringing it back to life? So I resized it in Photoshop to 24 by 36 at 300 resolution, and I'm not thrilled with the results. It looks fine here on the screen, but we zoom in and we lose some resolution pretty darn quick. It's noisy, it's just, we lose a lot on this photograph, and this is not one that I would feel comfortable printing on a large format because the crop is just too big. I ran it through On1 AI Resize 2025, the brand new one that just came out, and this is what it did. And I want your feedback here. What do you think? At first glance, this looks pretty cool. I think this is a really beautiful photograph. But we zoom in and we do have some problems. It kind of looks like an old iPhone picture. It just kind of gets that cartoony look, and I just feel like we lose a lot of integrity in our photograph when we just try to bring it back, because we're not really increasing the resolution, we're changing the pixels. I don't know exactly how On1 AI does it, actually. I don't know. Maybe they do rebuild and add pixels. I should research that and find out. I don't know. But what I do know is that this result is not great. I mean, I think we could probably use it, and I really wouldn't know for sure until we print this thing out at 24 by 36 and see how it looks. Sharing online, I think it looks really cool. I think it looks great. But is this printable? Did On1's AI resize make it so that we can use a usable image from such a heavy crop? It looks pretty good, but then again, I just don't know until we actually print it. But this did get me thinking about what else is possible. What else is possible? If we have our original image here, what if I wanted to blow up this image and say we wanted to bring this one all the way up to like a 40 by 60? How's that going to look? Well, let's give it a shot. Let's try that. Let's push go here and it'll create a Photoshop image, and then let's compare that. Let's see how that looks. Using its AI magic here. It might take a minute, so I'll be right back. That process took roughly 5 minutes. So let's open it up in Photoshop and just see how that looks. So it's not a super fast process when you're going to that size. A 40 by 60 is obviously pretty big. And look at that, it's a 2.3 gigabyte file. So watch your storage space. But if we just open this up in Photoshop and just compare, let's take a look. And after this, we're going to check out an iPhone picture too, an iPhone RAW photo, and check at the original quality, and then we'll double check and compare resized quality and just see how far we can push iPhones these days. Okay, so here is the resized 60 by 40. Let's zoom in a lot here. It's exactly the same. Kind of expected that, but it's exactly the same result. So I'd say if you're going to do this, crop the crop you want first and then resize your crop. You might as well, because you're just wasting a lot of compute power to resize the whole thing and then crop it anyway. So crop first, resize second, I think is the learning there. Let's take a look at an iPhone photo. Here we are in, yeah, I said 2025 earlier. This is AI 2026 on one, resize AI 2026. So let's open this. This is a raw photo or taken on an iPhone 14 Pro. Okay, let's take a look at this. This photo already is 26 by 20 roughly at 300 DPI. Just from an iPhone, that's pretty dang good. I mean, look at we've got some great clarity on this thing. I mean, iPhones have come so long, and you still, like, when you really zoom in, you still run into that integrity problem where you just kind of lose the pixels on these things. But, I mean, if we're already looking at 26 by 20, let's say we wanted the crop. Well, let's say we'll just resize this entire thing. What do you think? So if we resize this also to 40 by 60, and let's see if we can get a 60-inch print from an iPhone 14. Isn't that crazy? If that's where this technology is leading us, pretty remarkable. That one took a little longer, maybe a 10-minute processing time, but let's take a look and see what it gave us. Okay, so this image is now giant. Image size 60 by 40 at 300. This is a giant image. And if we just zoom in, let's zoom in on like the details here. Man, isn't that crazy cool? I think I think technology is evolving to the point where we're going to be able to blow up even iPhone images to big wall-sized images without a whole lot of problem. I mean, there is like it. You zoom in super close here, and you start to see some of that cartoonish, just kind of like I call it loss of integrity in a photo. And there's no grain, which is super weird. So you might want to go in and just add some grain to a finished product or something. But I'm pretty I'm pretty impressed that we could take an image and make it so much bigger using available technology. And yeah, I'm pretty impressed. I think it'd be worth a test to print out one of these that's such a heavy crop. Let's see, this is the one that's been resized through on one, and see how it looks even as a 24 by 36, and just see how it looks on print. You know, it's probably pretty good. And I'm not saying that should be, you know, standard practice for people. I'm one of those guys who just is like, hey, shoot the crop you want, you know, and then you have full resolution to work with. But sometimes, you know, you just can't. Like I couldn't have gotten closer to this wave. And it happened so fast. And this is the image that I wound up with, and it is what it is. And I wanted it to be, you know, just a much smaller crop, and it's at least possible now. It's not ideal, but it's at least possible. And I think On One and other resizing platforms are changing the game here. I think it's going to make iPhone photography even more valid and just able to create art with any tool. So first impressions are pretty darn good. I'm impressed. So check it out. There's a free 30-day trial for On One. I'm not affiliated anyway. I'm just doing a test here just to see what happened. But check it out and see what you can create through. I mean, you've got Lightroom, Photoshop, On One, tons of other resize platforms out there. But have some fun. Create the art that you want to create, and I think the tools exist now to basically create anything we want. And it's that fine line still between photography and AI. Like, is this still a photograph? I mean, clearly it's a photograph because it started here, but used AI technology to refine it and bring it here. Does it still count? Is it still a photograph? I actually ran this through an AI detector just to see, one of those online AI detectors, and it still said that they're like 99% confident this shot was created by a human. So that's good. I mean, but who knows? Who knows? And it doesn't matter at the end of the day. It doesn't matter how an image is created if it makes somebody happy and if it feels good. I don't know. These are lines that are starting to happen in art and photography. But bottom line for me is it's helping me create an image that I think is pretty cool, and that's really all that matters.